Hi, so I'm Jessica and this is Lara, and I'm going to be using her to demonstrate what a proper oral peripheral exam looks like. So before I start, I'm just going to go over all the things that I have. So I've got some hand sanitizer, I have gloves, I have a little dental mirror, I've got a couple of tongue depressors, and I have a pen light. So before you start any type of oral motor exam, or even contact with any patient, you need to make sure you're either sanitizing your hands or washing them. So I'm just going to do that just to make sure that all of the germs are not present. Okay, and then I'm going to put on my gloves just so that there's that extra layer for when I have to manipulate some of Lara's mouth. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to check the symmetry of her face. So I'm going to be looking straight on at her. And I see that, so the corners of her nostrils, they line up with the corners of her eyes, so there's symmetry there. I can see that there's no type of facial drooping or spasms on either side, so everything looks good that way, but I am noticing that she's breathing more so out of her mouth than out of her nose, so I'm just going to mark that here, but other than that, symmetry is normal. So next I'm going to be looking at her jaw. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you open and close your mouth slowly over and over just so I can kind of evaluate how your jaw is. So if you want to go ahead and do that for me. So here I'm noticing kind of the range of motion, whether it's normal or reduced. I'm noticing the symmetry of her movement, as well as whether or not it's slow or jerky or any type of asymmetry there. And I see that it's normal, which is good. So next I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to place them on the sides of your jaw. And I'm going to feel with my hands kind of what's happening there. And I'm kind of listening and feeling for any popping or grinding or any noises coming from that temporomandibular joint, which I don't. It feels good. One more time. Awesome. Okay. So that's all normal there. So next I'm going to observe your teeth. So I'm just going to have you, smile, and I'm going to put my tongue depressor on the side here, and I'm just going to bite down. And I'm going to look and I'm going to see kind of how your molars line up. So all of your, it aligns perfectly, so we've got normal occlusion here. If you could just open your mouth for me, please. I'm going to look with my light and my mirror just to make sure that all of her teeth are present. And I see that you've got a little wire at the bottom, so you would have had braces previously, right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I will mark that down here. The hygiene is good. There's no spaces between everything, so her dentition is normal, which is great. So next I'm going to evaluate your lips. I'm going to ask you to pucker your lips and say ooh, ooh, and then spread them and say e, and do them over. So ooh, e, ooh, e, ooh, e, ooh, e. Okay, perfect. So range of motion is good. Everything's symmetrical. There's nothing drooping left or right. And I'm also just going to test the strength of your lips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press my tongue depressor against your lips. When you pucker, you're just going to push against it. It'll just be a little bit of pressure. So pucker up. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So she's pressing back with normal strength, which is great. Next, I'm going to have you puff your cheeks up and hold the air in, so like this. So while I'm having her do this, I'm looking to see if any air is escaping, which there isn't, so she's got a good lip seal, which is great. So yeah, so you can stop. Next, I'm going to have you do that once more, but while I do that, I'm going to place my mirror underneath your nose, and that's just to check whether or not there's any nasal emissions, and if there is, then the glass should fog up. So if you want to do it again, so I see here that it's clear, so nothing's escaping out of her nose, so that's great. So I will mark that down here. So next I'm going to just evaluate your tongue. So I'll be looking at the color, the movement of it when she sticks it out, and just the size in general. So if you want to stick your tongue out for me. So yeah, we've got normal color. It looks like a normal size for the size of your mouth. And you're able to hold it out there, and it's got normal movement, which is great. I'm just going to have you now, I'm going to have you stick your tongue up so I can look underneath where it connects to the bottom. So, and tilt your head down a little bit for me. So I can see that she's got a short frenulum, so I'm just going to mark that down here. So next, I'm going to have you stick your tongue out without resting it on your lips. So out, and then in, out again, and then in. One more time. Okay, perfect. So there's normal range of movement. It doesn't deviate to the left or the right when you stick it out. And I'm also looking at the speed, which is normal. Now I'm just going to do what I did with your lips. I'm going to take my tongue depressor and you're just going to push against it with the tip of your tongue. So I'm testing the strength here. So push against, a little bit of pressure. Good. So that's normal. Alrighty, so next I'm going to have you stick out your tongue and stick it to the right. Now stick to the left. To the right again. And to the left. Now back and forth as fast as you can. Okay, perfect. So I'm noticing that when I ask her to do it back and forth, the range of motion is just a little bit reduced, which I would assume is probably from how short your frenulum is. It's not giving you that full range of motion with that speed. So I'm just going to mark that here. Now I'm going to test the strength again of your tongue on each side. So stick your tongue out for me, and I'm going to have you press to the left. Good. And then press to the right over here. Good. So that's normal. Okay, so next I'm going to have you stick your tongue out and move the tip up. Up like towards your lips. Down. Up. Down. Perfect. Alrighty, so again, movement's normal. There's no groping around, and the range of motion is normal as well. Okay, so next I'm going to look into the back of your mouth at your pharynx. So I'm going to take my pen light and a tongue depressor, and I'm going to use this other hand, and I'm just going to have push the tongue down and look at your pharynx, which has good color. Awesome. And your tonsils are there, and they're not looking enlarged or anything, so that's great. So I'll just mark these down. And then next I'm going to look at your hard and soft palate. So I'm going to kind of want to go a little bit under so I can get the top of her mouth. So, perfect. So I'm looking at the color, which is good, of the hard palate. I'm looking at her alveolar ridge and the rugae, which are normal. The arch height of her mouth, which is normal as well. I would say, though, that the width of the hard palate is a little bit narrower. So I'll mark that here. Now, while I'm looking at her mouth, I was also looking for growths or fistula, any type of abnormalities like that, or any clefting, which were all absent, which is great. And it's also very symmetrical. Now, next, I'm going to look at your soft palate. So I'm going to, again, take my tongue depressor. And I'm just going to have you say, ah, ah. Okay, and one more time, ah, ah. And another time. Okay, perfect. So while I'm having her phonate that ah sound, I'm looking for the symmetry of movement, which I detect as normal. She's got really great posterior and lateral movement. So the velum is going up to close up that VP port, and she has no hyper or hyponasality when she makes those sounds. I'm also going to just check one more time just to look at your uvula. And relax. Perfect. Okay, so it doesn't deviate to the left or the right, and it hangs down normal, and it isn't split, which is what we call a bifid uvula. So that's great. So finally, here, I'm going to take my gloves off. We're going to do one more test, and I'm going to take my little stopwatch here. So what I'm going to have you do is we're going to say some sounds, and then we're going to kind of put them all together, and I'm going to time you to see how many that you can say in 5 seconds. So can you say pa? Pa. Say pa, pa, pa. Pa, pa, pa. Now I want you to say that as fast as you can, and I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do that, okay? Okay. Start. Pa, 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 pa. Good. Alrighty, now we're going to say that with ta. Ta. Ta, ta. Ta, ta. We're going to say ta over and over again, just like you did with pa, for 5 seconds. Ready? Yeah. Start. Ta, 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 ta. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to say it with ka. Ka. Ka, ka. Ka, ka. I'm going to have you say it over and over again for 5 more seconds. Ready? Go. Good. All right, so then we're going to put them all together. So we're going to say pa-ta-ka, 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 pa-ta-ka. Okay, so I'm going to have you say the string over and over for 5 more seconds. Ready? Go. Pa-ta-ka, 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 pa-ta-ka. Good. Alrighty, so when I'm recording this, we're looking to kind of see how they sound all together, the transition between each of those sounds and how smooth it was, and the relative speed. So yours were normal for all of those. That's great. And that is how we do an oral motor exam.